Hello, you absolute lovelies. Let's talk all about Steven Soderbergh's Black Bag. This is a movie that got a theatrical release that I'm very excited it did. This is another movie that I feel like under a lesser filmmaker could have ended up on streaming. And as I'm growing this page, I am trying to give more and more films that are smaller films a lot of love that are getting theatrical releases, because I do think movies are made for theaters and I want people to go see them in theaters. So this is absolutely one of those, as I am a huge Steven Soderbergh fan. I got to see this film early and it reminded me so much of 90s and 2000 movies that I saw a little too early as a kid that were, a little charged sexually, thematically. They have that undercurrent of energy we don't see in a lot of movies anymore. So I personally was very excited about this, getting to grow that market that I feel like is dwindling a little bit, at least in the mainstream audience. So going to talk all about Black Bag, non-spoiler review. There are some great twists and turns. I will give some context to things that happen in the third act, but I promise this will be a spoiler-free review. If you're new to this page, I do movie reviews, I do movie news, I do comic book news and reviews, as well as some TV coverage. So if you're into movies, TV, comic books, anything pop culture, please hit that subscription bell. Try to cover it all from the lens of someone who loves genre content, but also wants to talk more and more about smaller, more independent films than just the giant tentpole films, and this falls somewhere in the middle. So, like I said, please hit that subscription bell. Also, please leave a comment on this video. Let me know if you were already going to see Black Bag, if you'd heard of this film, if you've seen it, what you thought. I'd love to have a conversation about it in the comments below, and also hit the like while you're pressing the button. That helps the algorithm. All right, Black Bag stars Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. I want to start right there because I think this film, with Soderbergh's direction, knows exactly how to use the best of Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. I love both of these actors. I think that Michael Fassbender is one of the greats that I don't think of as one of the greats, because he's so good at blending into a film that he doesn't stand out as some of the movie stars that I think of as like headline openers. But whenever I leave a Fassbender film, I'm always struck by, like, man, he is so good. But I do think there are certain roles that he likes playing more than others. I think he personally loves a hyper-analytical, a little cold-clipped, very specific peach pattern kind of fellow. Like, he loves to use speech in a weaponized way. This is absolutely that. I feel like Soderbergh has directed Fassbender in the exact type of role he loves to play, like the killer under Fincher, or even on the broader sense, Magneto, and the way that he delivers those things. I love when Fassbender is using that in like an Aaron Sorkin way, with like Jobs. Like, that dialogue I think suits him very well. This is that in a different, playful way, but it's playful in a really subtle, subdued kind of way. Then on the other side, you've got Cate Blanchett, who is always charming, always enigmatic, always mysterious in a very Cate Blanchett way, but this allows that to be sex appeal in her mysteriousness, opposite the coldness of Fassbender, which is in its own way sex appeal. They're both very charged and sexy couples that need to have that tension for their coupling to work, and the movie doesn't work without that tension. If these actors were any lesser, or if they were miscast, or anything didn't land, everything falls apart, because the entire film is based on that tension. This is a movie that has a fairly linear concept of, what if you were in a situation where your partner was also a spy, and what if they perhaps were on the other side? Like, I love the idea of spies together, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the show, the book, the movie. I love the idea of using that, but instead of there being infidelity, it's like infidelity to the cause, and then the manipulations therein. Now, that's all in the trailer. That's not getting in the way. That's the first 10 minutes of the movie. But what I love is the movie builds on that concept and uses its very formidable cast of players, the people around them, and the manipulations therein. Now, what I really love about this film is not only does it have this spy theme and all of that intrigue intrinsic to the story itself, but it actually feels like Soderbergh's take on a Bond film very specifically. Like, it's not just a spy movie, it's like, what if a Bond type was trapped in this scenario, but instead of casting Fassbender and making him a James Bond type, they surround him with Bond types. Q is in this, like, from the most recent Bond films with Daniel Craig. We've also got Pierce Brosnan himself in this as like the leader of this clandestine operation. So he's getting to play not a Bond type, but like above that. And then Fassbender getting to play a spy, Cate Blanchett getting to be a spy. All of this in this mysterious world. And I really love that the movie is leveraging our expectations. If you see a lot of these movies, or read a lot of these books, or watch a lot of like that 90s, 2000s espionage era, you have certain expectations the way the story is going to go. And then it twists and turns at you. And the whole time, it's this very, very sexy movie that is so intriguing and so clandestine, but also like it pulls you in. And now we're getting into, these are context spoilers for the film. It literally is not a spoiler, but it's something I really want to raise awareness to because I thought it was done very well. But it's just establishing a setting. If you don't want to know anything, get out of here, but there's a cool setting and I'm going to talk about it. The action here is really cool because one of the biggest action set pieces in the film is based off of polygraph testing. And so many action movies, so many spy movies in particular, use polygraph testing as like an action set piece, but few actually make it feel intense and actually make it feel like it's like the stakes are high. The stakes are really interesting in this film because there's so many scenes set at a dinner table. There's so many scenes set in an office. There's so many scenes that like aren't a car chase or a foot chase or a, big explosion. But those have this incredible tension. So where do you build to? I love that the polygraph in this is the thing you build to, and it feels like it's deserved. The way this is shot reminds me of like Richard Linklater's Hitman, where a texting scene becomes like this crazy action set piece. Here, polygraph, literally sitting in a chair and just dialogue being weaponized allows this action to level up and crank up the intensity throughout. And I was really impressed that it actually felt like an action set piece. So you've got a film that builds to an interesting dynamic that stays in its lane, but also goes against some tropes while using those tropes in a really fun way. All of this under the direction of Steven Soderbergh. Now, Soderbergh is one of the great directors of ensembles. I really think the Ocean's movies are the great ensemble piece of modern time, but he's also really good at smaller things like Kimmy, I think is super slept on. Comedy like Logan Lucky, and the way he plays with the human condition is fascinating to me, and the way he knows how to manipulate the audience is fascinating to me. This was fun because I've never seen him do anything quite like this. This was an ensemble, but it felt super minimalist. It had big scope and ideas, but it never felt like it was trying to be a big spy movie. It felt very consciously like a relationship movie. It's like a rom-dram, like a romantic drama, but with all of the underpinnings of a tentpole. So I was really impressed. I know it's not going to be for a lot of people. That being said, I do want to make it clear I'm trying to review more smaller movies and get awareness to them, especially in theaters, because I want to, knowing they won't do as well as the bigger movies, but I don't love everything. I review things positively by looking at the things I enjoyed. There were parts of this film that I felt like had lulls that weren't intentional. I do feel like some of the pacing was at the cost of some of the sexiness, but I don't know what I would change. I do think that the casting was perfect, but there were elements that I would have punched up dialogue-wise. But overall, like, this is 3.5 stars, a solid B, worth your time in the movie theater. Definitely an experience where I wouldn't watch it often, so it can't be higher than a 3.5, but I am happier for having seen it and do think it enhances Soderbergh's filmography, Blanchette's filmography, Fassbender's filmography. So I'm really happy with it, and it's great to have like a super sexy adult thriller that feels like it's not trying to pander to IP or trying to get people that it's not made for interested. It knows what it is, it lives in that world, and it thrives in that world. So I had a lot of fun with it. I want Soderbergh to keep making stuff like this. I love to see actors getting to play with dialogue and really punch things up. The therapy scenes were great. Polygraph scenes were great. Dinner scenes were great. Had a great time with it. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you see Black Bag? Did you enjoy Black Bag? Do you like movies like this? Very vocal, dialogue-heavy films. Is that your cup of tea? Let me know in the comments below. And please leave a like. Also, follow if you're not already. I'd appreciate it very much. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Check out Black Bag. I had a great time with it.